those who don't know, what is emotional intelligence? Take us through a little bit about it.
Oh my goodness, it is the ability to be able to use, manage, understand your emotions in a healthy manner. There I was, an upcoming HR professional. I was flying high, scoring. I was even deemed the best HR of the year.
Guys, I'm so happy to be here. We addressed some hard things.
I don't know what I'm gonna say when I'm in here, you guys. I'm looking at my glasses. It has a smudge and it just can't get it out. I need something stronger than this jacket. Happy New Year. I think this is the first time I'm here, right? Because I was like out for 2 weeks, but then I came and I told you guys Happy New Year's before the New Year's, so it's all blurring together. Happy New Year's. So, are you guys tired of hearing that sentence? Hopefully you guys are on the same page as me because, like I said, I don't know what may come out of my mouth today based on all of what that title is and what it may not be. So, welcome to 2025, you guys. It is 2025. Yes, it is 2025. Welcome to 2025. Welcome to Wednesday, January 8th, the second Wednesday of the year. So, back to that sentence I was talking about. Are you guys tired of hearing the sentence? I was just reading some articles and stuff. Are you guys tired of hearing that sentence that says, employees leave their supervisors, their bosses, not the company? I am so tired of seeing that sentence and hearing it. My next question every single time I hear it now is, what are you doing about it? What are you doing about it? What are you doing about that sentence? If that is your organization and you are, you have a high turnover or low engagement or all the above, toxic environment, and employees are leaving you because of that sentence that I just mentioned, employees leave their jobs because of their managers, not the company. The company managers, company managers, company. If you're tired of hearing that sentence, raise your hand because I'm tired of hearing it. My question is, what are you guys doing about it? And that's where we're at. And with that, let's get this conversation started, right? So, in this conversation today, we're talking about a glimpse of growth. Here's your sentence for this year that I'm gonna probably say for the rest of this year. If growth is your goal, this is your space. This is your place. So let's endeavor, let's strive to reach toward that goal, that mission, that whatever it is that you set for yourself. Or if you didn't set nothing at all, reach for that too. Right? But the point is to make it unforgettable. Make it by the end of this year, you're like, yes, I did all that I could and I did nothing that I thought. That should be your sentence. I want that to be your sentence. Something on my lip here, you guys. So, yeah, that's how we're going to start this. So, this conversation today is about a little bit about a glimpse of growth, which is a glimpse of growth with Dr. Dale. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for, we're going on 2 years. Started this like October of 2023. We're going on 2 years, you guys. 2 years. Dos años. Dos años. And so it's a year and change, 2, 3, 4 months or something like that. Yes. And it started out with the title of Pulse Check. I changed it slightly and I named it A Glimpse of Growth. Same goal, same mission, made it a little bit more focused on leadership, which is what HR, my HR experience is, and the research that I did is mainly about. So, we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about leadership and going back to that sentence I said in the beginning of this conversation, employees leave their managers, not their boss, right? So, what does all of that have to do with A Glimpse of Growth, which is this podcast, which is this live streaming, which is this conversation? What does it all have to do with that? And like I say, I'm apologizing or not apologizing. You know what? I take it back. I don't know what may come out of my mouth, but let's go with it, right? So, yes, I started this podcast about October of 2023, going on to 2 years now. And the podcast, the conversation is always, almost always about leadership development, personal development, human resources, employees, managers in the workplace, at home. How can you adapt the skills? How can you get closer to the acquaintances, relationships that are going to make you stronger as a human being, as a person? And how can you get better? Not to say that we don't make mistakes, because we do. Jesus knows we do. We make mistakes, and don't let yourself, the point is to make the mistake, learn from the mistake, and endeavor to put measures in place to do better next time. It doesn't get any better than that. I think where sometimes we go wrong, sometimes where I go wrong, which I'm trying to do better with, not trying, I am doing better with, is when I do make the mistakes, what am I saying to myself in my head up here? You can go down a really negative slope sometimes. We can, as human beings, right? Of why did I make that mistake? Now he or she is thinking that I'm dumb, that I'm incapable, that why did I say that? Why did I act that way? Why did I look that way? Why did I, all of these things that you put inside of your head, and it just sends you down this negative hole, dark hole, that then you come out of it and you feel like crap, right? We don't want to do that. We did that last year. We're not doing that this year. Okay? We're going to strive to do better in 2025, right? So, right before the holidays, I was a busy bee. I put out this mini leadership survey thing, as it relates to this conversation, right? As it relates to leadership development. I put out this mini leadership research, and I had quite a few people that reached out that poured into the research and answered the questions. And it was all in the name of research and creating transformation. That's it. And it solved, and it asked a simple question. What is it that your organization, if they are, what are they doing to win? And how does emotional intelligence play into any of that? So what are they doing? I got organizations or leaders that, you know, how are you solving high turnover with your employees? How are you, the lack of communication or motivation, how is that working? And then looking at employers that were doing that and they were winning, and then looking at employers that were not doing any of those things and they were not winning so much so, right? So I talked to an organization executive that their employee turnover was seven between 7 and 9%. It's pretty good. Then I also talked to organization, during this holiday break, of where their turnover rate was almost in the 80s. So and these are similar organizations, same industry. So what were this one doing that this one wasn't doing? And then looking at that list, very different actions, very different practices, how they communicate, the morale, the structure of the processes, and how much involved the employees were, made a world of difference from these two organizations. Just looking at these two organizations, right? Not all the other ones I talked to, which added to that, right? To that data, to that research, to that conversation. And then looking at those two, and then seeing, man, if this one did a little bit more of what this one is doing, or maybe just have the conversation to see how, oh, okay, maybe we were focusing too much on the numbers, and maybe we're focusing not so much on the numbers, or too much on the bottom line, and or too much on leveraging AI, or walking or running away from AI thinking it's going to hurt you, and then getting ahead of that, right? It was so good. I ate up that research, that conversation, all of those conversations, and it was eye-opening, right? And it then looking at what actual leaders are doing today, and then looking at the data, it all matches. It all match. So I saw it as a part two to my mini dissertation that I did when I did my emotional intelligence research on emotional intelligence and its impact on organizations, their employees, and what benefits, what practical strategies, which was all backed by data as well, right? So with all of these new knowledge, with all of this new conversation, with all of the folks that I spoke to, with leaders from all over, even a few people, two or three people from Africa, leaders that have organizations that is global. Um, I decided to do a leadership development course. Yes. A leadership development course. Emphasis on the word lead because that's what the course is, the acronym that I developed for the course. Lead, right? And it goes for, it's for nonprofits, healthcare, or a brand new manager at whatever organization. You have never been a manager before, you don't know the ins and outs of it. This is for you. It's for you. Yes. So that acronym leadership, that acronym leadership is learn L, learn your emotional maturity score. Do you know it? If you don't, maybe it's time that you do. E, empower yourself and others. Don't just say it. What are some practical strategies day to day in your task that you have right now that you can do? Nothing too big, nothing too crazy. Actual step by step that a 5-year-old can do right now, right? A, align with purpose. Align with your purpose. Align with the organization's purpose. Align with your department's purpose. And then finally, D, zoom. Drive positive impact. Don't just drive impact in your own life, but ripple effect impact. People outside, widen your sphere. All of it. What it is that you can do to lead. So that's what the course is gonna be about. Just giving you guys a glimpse because I'm still working on it. I am excited about it, as you can see, which is why I did the data collection and kind of did that mini survey and whatnot that I did right before the holidays. So the leadership development course is coming to a platform near you in March. Okay? Try to have for you guys before, but let's see. Just give me some time. So you know your girl is busy. Starting out this new year, busy. So I've said it. It's public. It's there. Now on to the next. So why did I do it? Why a glimpse of growth? Um why am I moving in this direction? Because I feel from my not I feel from my experience, I can only speak from my experience. I can't speak from anybody else's. From my experience, um ineffective leadership can significantly hurt a person's life. I'm going to say that again. Ineffective, I'm I'm not just talking about the business side of things, the professional side of things. I'm talking about life as a whole. Life. Ineffective leadership can significantly hurt, undermine a person's morale, a person's career, a person's life. And if you are affecting a person's life in that way, if you're affecting a person's professional life in that way, you are affecting their life. So ineffective leadership significantly can undermine a person's life if they are being ineffective in that person's professional life. You, me, your brother, your sister, your aunt, your friend, your uncle, I don't care who it is in this, who do you know? I guarantee you know someone that has been affected negatively by a manager that did not serve them in the way that they should have. No knock on the manager, knock on the skills they didn't have to perform or to serve you or your family member or friend when they needed it. Let that sink in for a little bit. Let that sink in because I have had my fair share of ineffective leadership. I've had my fair share. You have had your fair share of ineffective leadership, right? A lack of accountability from leadership often fosters disengagement. Not sometimes, not maybe, not sometime, not sure, not always. It does it. It does it. You know why? Because if you are in the presence or you are interacting with that leadership or with that person that don't have the skills to do the skills, and let me say this because this is popping into my head now that I'm saying it, it's talking about skills. just because that manager has the um, skills to do the job, technical skills to do the job, does not mean they have the people skills. Yes, I said it. You don't have to like it, but it's true. You need to make sure they have both. They need both. Not to serve the people, but to serve the people. And when I said people, I'm not talking about just the executive team and the board or the right to stay. I'm talking about the people, and that's customers, that's external, internal, all of them. So it can't be lopsided. It has to be balanced. It has to serve everyone. So let me stick to my notes because I be getting off tangent, you guys. So lack of accountability from leadership often fosters disengagement and resentment between among staff members, right? It's essential to recognize that leadership avoidance of responsibility for organizational challenges contributes to systematic overall culture and productivity. So you got the operations on one side suffering, and then you got the culture on one side suffering. Hence, the entire organization suffers. I don't care who you talk to. I don't care what data you look at. Look at the data out there back to back. You're going to read and hear the same thing over and over. If you keep seeing the same thing over and over, maybe you need to look into it. If you keep hearing the sentence that employees keep leaving your department, maybe you need to look into it, right? It's not a if and situation anymore. Just look at the exit interviews for your department. Look at what the engagement, look at the state in surveys that you're doing, if you're doing any in your department, and you will have your answer. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Look at your numbers. So now the question is, what is the cost of ineffective leadership? When I look at the numbers, I was like, because I saw this like way back when, and I was like, surely we haven't improved. We have improved. No, we have not improved, you guys. We have not improved. Let me put on my serious glasses so you guys can think I'm serious because we have not improved. According to Gallup, the price of ineffective leadership is estimated at $8.8 trillion. $8.8 trillion. I don't even know. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. Trillion? T-R-I? Trillion. This is representation of the cost of the cost of the loss of productivity, because you have people in and out of the door, constantly in and out of the door. You have to be onboarding people constantly in and out, in and out. Disengagement. I'm gonna do the bare minimum or less than the bare minimum, right? I may look like I'm working, but not really working, right? Not gonna put my best foot forward. I'm disengaged, stemming from all poor leadership practices. Don't wait for an employee to come and tell you, or for a problem to come up. If you are observant and you're paying attention and you are invested in your department's success, nobody has to tell you to keep on the lookout, make sure things are going good. Nobody has to tell you that. Nobody has to tell you. Nobody has to tell you. How are you doing it if you are doing it, right? You should be that invested, that engaged as a leader. Yes, you have adults coming in and doing the job, but if the adults that are coming in and doing the job don't have somebody to, maybe you don't have somebody to train them, right? If you don't have somebody to train them or to educate them on the ins and outs of the company, and they come in and they just start mimicking whatever they see Sally doing and Brian doing and whatnot, and then when they do a task that you ask them to do and they don't do it at the level that you're looking, or the effectiveness that you're looking for it, and who are you going to blame? Them? You didn't give them any direction. You just dropped it on their lap. No direction, no instructions. You didn't show them how to do it. You didn't train them. You didn't coach them. You didn't mentor them. Who are you mad at? That's your department. That's your company. Show them how much you care. Show them. You got to show them. So I wanted to say that. And then the cost of poor leadership can cost an organization, a typical organization. So the other 8.8 trillion dollars that I just gave you guys is globally. Now, a typical organization, 7% of their annual revenue. So if your annual revenue is $1 million, $70,000 is getting chewed out and thrown away because of ineffective leadership. If you can afford to go without that $70,000 annually, then keep doing what you're doing. I don't know what to tell you. If you're okay with it, I always say, if you guys like it, Dr. Dale loves it for you. I love it for you. So more of this data, right? I love me some data, you guys. A single poor leader costs an organization an average of $126,000. So let's say the lowest, $126,000. You're okay with losing that money? And the thing about it is that you don't even know that you're losing it. 2025. Here's another year for you to giving you an opportunity to maybe do a little bit more homework. Maybe ask those hard questions. Maybe actually do the work and invest in trainings, invest in your people. Low employee engagement and total employee engagement due to poor leadership costs an 11% drop. 11%. Around 82% of workers are actively seeking new employment. These are numbers. They're real. They're real. You've experienced them, I experienced them. If you can sit there and let's say you had 5 employers in all of your experience, 5, and more than half of them, so either 2 out of those 5, I'm sure you had a negative experience. I'm going to even venture and say probably 3 or 4. So my call to you in this new year is go the next half of that journey as a leader, as an employee, as a mother, as a father, as a friend. Go that extra mile and go to that journey, that new journey. Take up that mantle, push yourself further, do better. We can always do better. You can never say the sentence, oh, I've done all I want to do. If you're saying that sentence, well, I said earlier, the sentence that I said I was gonna probably always say every single time I'm on here is, if growth is your goal, this is your place. And growth doesn't is not a one and done, right? Growth is ongoing, ongoing, right? So if you're ongoing, growing, and that's something that's important to you and that you want and you like and you're striving for, then Dr. Dale says this is your place. If it's not, then you're going to have to keep scrolling. Please keep scrolling. So in 2025, be the leader that's adaptable, that's coachable, that coaches other people, that influence people to be a better version, a better natural version of themselves. Be a leader, a new you, right? That inspire people to do that, right? That want to engage in conflict management in an effort to conflict resolution. So you can work through tense, because tense conversation and challenges and it's gonna come. It has to come. It's a part of the process. It's a part of the growing process for you, for your team, for all of you guys, right? You want to make sure empathy. You as a leader, you want to have empathy. Empathy means you have the ability to sense what others are feeling and understand them, right? You want to be a leader in 2025 that has emotional self-awareness. You need that. Which is the ability for you to know, to own your own emotions, to own your actions, own your thoughts, right? And be responsible for them, right? Um, you want to be the leader in 2025 that's positive, that, you look and see the best in things and in people, right? That you achieve and push towards the best. Be the new, in this new year, be on the journey of being that new version, or even that revamping, or me even back, a 2.0. When I have my students for, when I do teach my students for the HR certification, I tell them the version of you that you're talking to on day one, talking to me on day one, by the end of this, when you have your certification, that's version 2. That's 2.0. You're no longer 2.1. I mean 1.0. You are 2.0, 2.1, right? So it's constantly leveling up. And then when you look back, you're like, man, the person that really didn't understand what all of this subject was about, or what this department, or what these employees, or whatever that you needed that understanding in, and it's nowhere near who she is today. That's right. Or who he is today, because you have grown. You have allowed yourself to be teachable. You have allowed yourself to be flexible enough to ask those hard questions and be vulnerable. Be vulnerable. Vulnerability had a really two-part conversation with Susan on podcast last year that talked about vulnerability. Go back and look at it. Last year, right before the year ended, I talked about 10 trends for 2025 that you as an employee or an employer can leverage, can use. Go back and listen to those, because the future is here. It's here and it's happening right now. So thank you guys for allowing me to come in today to share about my upcoming course, leadership development course. I don't want to scream, but I'm gonna scream. All right, that's all I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna scream anymore. So thank you guys for allowing me to come in here and talk about my upcoming leadership development course that's coming out. I am going to be speaking about it a lot more until launch, which is March. And what else? I do have a conversation with an amazing young lady next week. She just received her HR certification, Elizabeth. So I think the invite is already out there, so you guys can feel free to sign up for that or join me next week. Next week at 12 noon on Wednesday, as usual. That conversation, if you're thinking about HR and if you know if this if should you get your certification or any certification, just come in, listen, and see if if anything that is dropped or said, or you connect with anything that maybe you want to level up your career in that way, level up that certification, that promotion, that degree, um, and or that new job, who knows. So that's what I'm gonna leave you guys with. That's all I got. See, we come in here just to drop some data, drop some update, give you guys a happy new year conversation, and you got a lot of my smile. And to let you know that, I have the course that's coming out, and we talked a little bit about we are tired of hearing the sentence employees leave their managers, not the company. And we're going to end it with that. What are you doing about it? Maybe you should sign up for my leadership development course that's coming up in March. Maybe, right? Maybe. I'm just saying, maybe. So, thank you guys. I'll see you guys next week with my guests. Bye.
Thank you for being here and supporting this channel. If you enjoyed this episode and this content, it would mean a lot to me if you would take a few seconds to ensure you are subscribed to A Glimpse of Growth with Dr. Dale. Click the notification bell to receive notification. Share it with someone you think may need it. And let's continue to become more intelligent with our emotions. Thank you. See you later.